In this video, we're going to talk about the gathering of photos and imagery for your site. Now, this is an interesting lesson because the way that we're going about this may have nothing at all to do with the way you would go about it. There are a lot of ways to get your hands on imagery, as we mentioned earlier when we were talking about resources for web design. You may use stock photography websites. You might get some from your client if you're building sites professionally, or you might go out with a camera and snap your very own. You have a lot of different ways to get your hands on imagery for your site. We do want to make a disclaimer, though, that while we have included the images that we are using in this tutorial, you are not allowed to redistribute them in any fashion. They're there for your own educational use only, just for you to kind of view and follow along with this tutorial, nothing else. So if you want to use any of those images, you'll probably need to go purchase copies from istock.com, which is where we got them.
Use them locally, not globally.
That's right. Locally. Use them just to follow along with us. But chances are you won't be using any of the photos that we use because they're all kind of random log photos. So again, just as kind of a review of what we talked about when grabbing, look at this, we're still over here at the fonts page. When you're grabbing images, just check out some of those resources we mentioned earlier, such as iStock. And again, you can't just type iStock.com and it'll jump it over to iStock Photo for you. And, if you know what you're looking for, like, let's say, what could we, at random, if we were making a site, let's say we're making a site about airplanes. I saw the sky back there and just thought that. So maybe we're making a site about airplanes and press enter. And iStock has all sorts of airplanes for us to sift through. And this is really all you're going to do. You're going to dig through, find the images you like, the ones that you feel like you can use, buy them, and then adjust them if necessary. As your Photoshop skills progress, you may find that you'll need to adjust photos, maybe tweak the colors on them, maybe crop them down a little bit. All sorts of things, of course, you can do to images. We're not going to get into that aspect of it, though, because that should probably be reserved for a Photoshop tutorial. What we're doing here is just kind of talking about the gathering of imagery. So, of course, you do have these stock photography sites. Now, what we have in this particular case is a pre-gathered set of images. And all we've done is we went to iStock, but, if we were doing this as a real company, we very well could have got many of these from the client themselves, or we could have gone out to the client's headquarters or their location and shot several of them ourselves. So all of these options. Go ahead and go to open, and here's some of the things that we have. Let's go ahead and I'll just open all of these up. It'll take them a second to come in. And so we have like a picture of tree rings. We have a lumberjack. Nice looking dude.
Always need a lumberjack.
We have a saw cutting through a tree. There's a nice log cabin. There's a log.
An actual log.
The log itself. Awesome. There's some heavy machinery adjusting some logs, moving stuff around, it looks like. Oh, a nice tranquil forest with a sky up above it.
Lovely.
We have burning logs. Again, it could be used for something. Who knows? Yeah. We have a nice stack of logs with a nice open sky above it. It really kind of follows very well with the color scheme we chose out, too, because we have some browns and some blues.
Right. Very natural.
And let's see here. We also have some cropped portraits that we'll be using. And we'll just go ahead and grab these. So these will be for our testimonials. Now, of course, if you're doing a real site, you're probably going to get pictures of the people who actually wrote the testimonials.
Right, rather than stock photography.
All of our testimonials are made up because this is just a tutorial. So, just kind of take it for what it's worth. So there's a kind of scary looking dude. And, of course, there's this, professional looking lady. And here's a guy that looks kind of like my guidance counselor in high school. And this guy who just looks really friendly and trusting. So... again, these are just images that we have collected that we think are going to go well. Oh, we also got this guy, too. He's kind of
scary.
Big and strong and scary looking. So, again, these are just photos that we have gathered because we think they're going to go along with the various ideas that we've put together. And really, that's going to pretty much sum it up. Now, these are just the photos we're going to be using. When you go photo collecting, there's a good chance that you'll end up grabbing a whole lot more photos than you're actually going to need. Now, just as an example of this, not to end the video prematurely, one of the things that I like to do, especially when using a resource like iStock, is I'll use their Lightbox. And you have to register with the site before you can use the Lightbox. But just as a quick demo of how it's used theoretically, you can click on any image, And then you have add this file to a lightbox. And what a lightbox is it's kind of a collection of photos that you're interested in that you can access every time you log in.
Right.
So it's just a collection of thumbnails, if you will. So it's a good way to preview a whole lot of photos, and then you can sort through them before you decide which ones you're going to buy.
Right.
So
like a special folder.
Now, I'm not going to actually go there myself because I'd have to log in on this computer, and I don't think I have my login with me. I don't have my password.
Right. Who knows what it is at this point?
Yeah, we won't worry about it at this point, but it is real easy to go ahead and register. It's free, costs you no money, and using their Lightbox is a nice free way to preview a lot of different pictures. Their prices are also really cheap. Yeah. Like if you just want the standard web size for this, which is at 72 dpi, in this case 566 by 848. It only costs you $1.
Yeah, that's incredible.
Yeah, which as far as stock photography goes is unheard of. So get in on this if you're interested in that. And I guess that's really everything that I wanted to discuss. Man, he is scary looking. So with that's going to wrap it up for this video. At this point, you should go ahead and collect all of the images that you're going to use. Now, of course, if you're following along with us, you've got the images on hand. If you're doing a site of your own, make sure you have all of that imagery before you go too much further. So that's all for this video. Thanks a lot.